So, I've been asked a lot in the past few months when and how my spiritual journey started. So, I thought I'd speak a little bit on that. As most of us, our journey starts when we're born. So, me being born when I was and into the family I was, I'm unsure how much of who I am and what I've been carried through from my past lifetimes and was already instilled into me. I was very observant growing up, so I've learned a lot simply through observing others. In elementary school, which would have been possibly about grade 5 or grade 6, I would get made fun of for having big feet and hairy arms. And these were guys that were making fun of me. And I told them, I was like, you're just jealous. So for a child at that age, to have that strength, to have a voice, to have the self-confidence to not allow the poking and prodding to get to you, I was filled with unconditional love for all. I was accepting. I was non-judgmental of others. I spoke up for those without a voice. I was super excited to get my driver's license when I turned 16. The day I turned 16, I got my driver's license. And about 8 or 9 months after that, I'm not sure what it is now, but about 8 or 9 months after you got your G1 in Ontario, Canada, you can get your G2. So of course I had signed up like that day to get my G2. Passed, got a driver's license. My parents gave me a van to drive around, so I drove the kids to school. So that was one thing off my parents' list. And so I'd be driving my friends around, and well, I was a big tomboy, right? So most of my friends were guys. I was like one of the guys. I had a couple good girlfriends, although most of my friends were guys. And so the guys would roll down the window and they'd be making obscene comments out the window at women walking down the street or in the cars next to us. And I'd roll their window up and tell them it's not nice. And if they would throw garbage out the window, I would pull over and make them go pick it up. Bees usually just want to have a little sniff and then they fly away. There's no reason to swat at them. So I always had a voice. I was accepting an unconditional love, which our Creator is unconditional love, even to His fallen angels. And this connection is what held my strength through my life. I was 16 and 17 and in Sea Cadets. And I've always gotten awards. I'm always good at what I do. In grade 8, I got the French award, the art award, and the social studies. And in Sea Cadets, I got perfect attendance, top rifle shot. I went to the Royal Canadian Military College of Kingston for summer camp, which they pay you to go to. They pay you to go to this summer camp. And it's amazing. So in Sea Cadets, you can go for band, sail, bosun, or gunnery. And I was in gunnery. It's all physical, challenging. It was so much fun. I got top cadet. I was top gunner. And due to my commitment in Sea Cadets and the professionalism and the standards I held for myself, they welcomed me to stay as long as I wanted for the rest of the summer. And I regret not many things in my life, and this is one thing I regret, is that I turned down that offer. I turned down that offer because I had other commitments or wants to hang out with my friends for the summer and do stuff that kids do, and most people think that you shouldn't do those things. I have always been good at what I do, and I believe a lot of it is due to my mindset and knowing that everything falls into place, everything happens as it's supposed to, everything that happens for good. So what I would do, I moved away from my hometown when I was 25, and what I would do is I wanted to live in different places, and I knew I was going to do my real estate license, and once I was in real estate, I knew I would be fully committing 24/7 of my day to my profession. Real estate literally is 24/7 commitment. Like, I would be sending emails and doing paperwork after midnight, and it was a lot of work. Even after I bought my duplex and I was fully gutting it, I'd be in there working. I'd get messages from my clients on homes they'd want to see. I'd run home, I'd change my clothes, and I'd go and show houses. And then I'd get back and I'd change again and go back and do renovations. So my spiritual journey really, really started when I was born. My belief in the perfection of all that is, and the reasoning of why people and situations happen in our life is for growth, for lessons. Everything happens as it should. And so I was at the point where I was doing my last real estate. Well, I was at the point that I was supposed to do my last real estate course. So I knew that I could only move out one more time prior to setting up shop. So I wasn't sure where I wanted to move. I'd already tried BC. I tried kind of northern Alberta. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to choose a cool job somewhere in Canada. So I went on Cool Jobs, Indeed, Kijiji. I was all over looking for just a cool job anywhere in Canada. And I found this one up, way up northern Alberta. And it was in a hotel restaurant. And there was a games room with 25 video lottery terminals and off-track horse racing. And in the basement was a pool hall. And they had staff accommodation, so I had my own hotel room. And we had a shared staff kitchen. Wow. So I did the video interview. And they paid, they flew me out. And it was amazing. My buddy picked me up at the Edmonton airport. And we drove 5 hours through canola fields. And I was like, that's like my favorite color, canola. But it was a little like, where the heck are we going, right? All of a sudden it just breaks out into this huge valley with a river flowing through it. And there's like ski hill on the other side. Oh, it was gorgeous. It was amazing. So I was about 30 at that time. And that is where I learned my true value. That is what sparked inside me to truly seek out what was happening, where I was going, who I was. So at 30 years old, I was working in the games room one night, and a guy came in. He had a couple beers, and we were talking, and he mentioned that he was looking for someone to rent out the basement of his house. And at that point, I had already been like, man, I can't stay in this hotel room forever. I'm washing my dishes in my bathroom sink. Like, it was like, it's been a couple months now. Like, can we move on? So he was renting out the basement of his house. And I was like, well, actually, I'm in staff housing and I'd love to not be in staff housing. So I went over to see the house, and it was it's like a 2-level front split, back split kind of thing. And so you walk in the front door, and it's like there's the landing, and you can go downstairs or upstairs, and then upstairs there's like a sunken in living area. Oh, it was such a nice house. And as soon as I walked in and I walked upstairs, and he had like crystals all over, like lining his counters and his windowsills and everything. And the love that I felt flowing through that house, it was he grew up in the house, and then he bought the house off his mom. I walked through the house and I was almost so overwhelmed. I had to step outside onto the back deck, and I was looking at the view of the mountains on this deck, and I started to bawl my eyes out. I was like, he's like, are you okay? Like, he didn't even know what was going on. And I said to him, I was like, there's so much love here. Like, I was so overwhelmed with it. So where I was working, they had a lot of immigrants who were trying to get their visa to stay, like their permanent residency. And so there were people there from India and Mexico and Barbados and Philippines. And these people in this place that I worked, they showed me my true value. The love that these people showed others, the focus and attention that they put towards you, because where they come from, it's not all cell phones and alcoholism and distractions. It's family and love. And so I saw my value through these people. It was life-changing experience. And so I started to connect more with spirit after that, and I had mentioned a few things to my family and my sister, and she basically, not in so many words, but basically called me crazy for a few things that I had said. And that is when I decided that this was an internal journey, and that many were not ready to see the true authenticity of many. When I would have been about 29. It was the year before I was there, so I would have been about 29 years old. Yeah, because I believe it was October. And this was when I was also in I was east of Edmonton at the time. And sorry, a bee was just going crazy. Couldn't find his way out of the truck. And so anyways, I had broken up with this guy who basically caged me in the bedroom and wouldn't let me leave. And I started to question on why my relationships weren't lasting long. I thought that there was something wrong with me. I thought, like, am I, like, asking too much? Even though I barely asked for anything other than respect and to follow through on your word. And so I started questioning myself. And that's what these guys had done to me. I thought there was something wrong with me, and that why my relationships were only lasting like a few months. So I decided to go to this psychic medium, and I'd never even thought about that before or done anything like that. So again, I'm like 29, so this is before moving to the Crystal House. And she records the session, although she kind of got the feeling that we shouldn't record it because of the energy that I had just left. And this was probably a month after I left him. I finally got out. His mom kept him on the phone, and I did 4 trips down the elevator with my stuff. And finally he came down to the lobby. He's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I have no clue. I have no clue." And he's like, "Come back upstairs." I'm like, no, I'm never going back up there. I'm leaving. I said, please just let me leave. And I seriously had no idea where I was going. I was sitting in the lobby with all my stuff. And so I'm sitting with this psychic medium, and she told me, she's like, "You are highly intuitive." And I said, "I kind of thought that." She's like, "But you have a big blockage. You have something blocking your intuition, and I can't even tell what it is." It was like her expression, like the black magic and darkness that's been put over my vision, the eyes and ears of my heart for so long, to block me so I couldn't see truth and facts. So she said, she's like, "You're highly intuitive." And she said, "Let's try a couple exercises." So one exercise, I heard the answers right away, because we have all the answers within us. We connect with our higher self, which is our source, that keeps us moving, the source within us. We're just like, this is our meat suit. You know what I mean? This is not who we are. It's in here. And so she gave me these exercises. And so she got me to obviously be in silence. And I won't go through the whole exercise. I'll just tell you a couple points. So open your crown chakra and welcome in the light from divine source energy. And you ask your question. And you wait for a response. Well, the one question I asked was, am I supposed to be with this guy that I just left? I was so confused. He had me confused that like there was something wrong with me. Meanwhile, he like would run across town to track me down and then burst into my friend's house and like terrorize everybody. And my buddy had to stand up to him like, "Get the fuck out of my house." Like, this guy was nuts. He had issues though. Like you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got their own stuff to deal with. And I forgive everything. And he never hurt me. He never hurt me. Not physically. And so I'm asking this question. I'm like, is this the guy I'm supposed to be with? And before I finished asking the question, I hear, no, 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 no. And I was like, well, I don't even have to finish asking that question. And I told the lady, and she's like, yeah, sometimes that's what happens. And so my buddy came through. My buddy was hit on the highway and killed when he just turned 19. Just got back from India. He came through. It was so crazy. It was so awesome and emotional. I've lost a lot of people in my life, and a lot at young ages. So my question to him was, what am I supposed to do? What do I focus on now? And the psychic medium, she said, ask your question, close your eyes, ask your question, and just listen for what comes. So I closed my eyes, I asked the question, and I heard him say 3 things. And of course I got emotional then too. And I opened my eyes and I told her what the 3 things were. She had those same 3 things written on the paper. She heard the same things that I had heard. She told me a lot of other things. And I don't know if I've ever told anyone this. Again, when I started to see my true value when I was 30, and I forgave myself for everything that I had accepted into my life that was not for me. Although I was always grateful that I accepted it for a short term. I never accepted it for long term and staying to be mistreated. So that experience, learning how easily I can tap into my intuition when I'm just present in the moment and quiet, and knowing that my own family didn't want to hear anything that benefited me. They didn't want to hear anything unless it had to do with me helping them. If it was me doing what they wanted me to do in my life, I stopped talking about it. I used to be in a couple chats, and I would bring up to these people in the chats, and I would ask them something like, are you going through a really tough time right now? Like, I feel like you're in pain. And they'd say yes. And then so some of them would ask me what I saw in them. So I have given intuitive readings, a few of them, over the past, I'd say the past 15 years, maybe 12 to 15 years, I've given intuitive readings. Most of the time, I might not even know their real name. I might just see a photo, but I tap into their energy. I haven't used labels before, and right now it seems like that's all anybody wants is a label. to know who's who and what's what. Over the past few months, I've given a few readings. Again, intuitive readings, which I've started confirming with cards. I have been buying Oracle Angel Tarot cards for the past 3 years, 4 years, maybe 4 years now. And it's funny because a lot of them sat there and I didn't touch them. And then I had watched a reader a couple months ago, and she told me that when you're called to do something, there's an initiation period. You don't just buy cards and start being a tarot reader. You don't just buy cards and start doing readings for everybody. There's an initiation period, which is like Jesus' 40 days, 40 nights of sacrifice, where you sit with the cards, you take in the energy, you allow the initiation to happen in order for the connection to be there for you to be able to move forward in that avenue soon, yeah. And so I've been collecting these decks of cards, and I have used them over the past year. So these intuitive readings I've been giving, like the last one I did, the guy couldn't believe it. He was like, you're spot on. Like, I really need to hear this. Now I need to digest it and figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So again, I give it's probably about 5 to 10 minutes of intuitive talking, and then I feel inclined to pull certain decks of cards, and then it confirms certain things I'm saying, and it brings up other things like life purpose or messages from your angels, just different things. It can give emotions that the energy you're currently sitting in. And for me to have been collecting these decks for 4 years, and nobody in my life knows about this. Like, it's been my initiation process of going into whatever I'm doing in my life. There are so many things I want to do. So I'm intuitive. I am many things, and I really don't want to use labels. I am many things, though. One of the things I've been a lot in the past few years is a shadow worker. Please stop. So I show others where they lack and where they can choose to work on themselves and then increase their connection to source and to heal certain aspects of them that they've been ignoring. And it's tough for people. It's really tough. I bring out their shadow side, and it triggers things within them. How I'm speaking to you, I may have even triggered things within you in this talk. It's just, I am who I am. And that has never changed. My habits have changed. My lifestyle has changed. Well, in ways like through addictions and stuff like that side of my lifestyle's changed. I haven't been to a party in a long time. Large groups don't appeal to me as much as they used to. Other than that, this has always been me. And many people that have known me for over 20 years will see and recognize me in a way and not recognize me in another. I've improved in many ways. Life means more to me now than it ever has. So that is quite a bit of info on my spiritual journey as I saw 30/30. And I hope that may encourage and inspire you on your journey. We all have the potential. We all have the potential to have a true connection to our higher selves, our inner guidance system, to guide us exactly where we need to be. May you truly be able to see your potential and rise up. We are in the new earth, and we welcome anyone who wishes to be here with us. Mwah. Blessings to you all.